Music. I am Marco, a young employee of a small IT company. To tell the truth, my life has never been particularly exciting. But in the last few months, I have lived an experience that has completely changed my way of seeing things. I live in a family house located in a quiet suburb. I inherited this house from my grandmother about 10 years ago. It is a large house with 5 rooms, but living alone, I only use 2, my bedroom and my study, where I spend most of my free time is spent between the computer and books. The other rooms have remained practically unused, except for a few boxes of old objects or forgotten furniture. It was an evening like many others. I returned home from work quite tired and decided to stop and grab a pizza for dinner. Once I got home, I rushed into my study, turned on the computer, and began working on a project that I had to complete by the next day. I completely lost myself in the work, forgetting even to eat the pizza that had been sitting cold on the desk at a certain point. While I was immersed in the code, I heard a noise coming from upstairs. It was a dull sound, like a thud, that made me jump initially. I thought it was just the house settling, maybe a bit of wind moving something outside. But then I heard it again, louder and clearer. I decided to go check it out as I climbed the stairs. My heart was pounding in my chest. When I reached the upstairs, I looked carefully, and the long corridor that led to the unused rooms, everything seemed in order. I quickly checked the rooms one by one, finding them exactly as I had left them, dusty and silent. I decided to close the door of each room to avoid further scares, and returned to my study. I resumed working, but my concentration was already gone. I felt really uneasy. When I finally decided to go to bed, it was already past 2 in the morning. I was exhausted but struggled to fall asleep. The following was a replica of the entity with the work that kept me busy until late, and the usual cold pizza. But that evening, as I was about to finish the last piece of code, I heard the noise again. This time it was clearer, as if someone was walking upstairs. The noise stopped for a moment, then resumed, accompanied by a faint whisper that I couldn't decipher. I decided to act, armed with the flashlight of my cell phone to avoid turning on the lights and getting discovered, and with a old stick that I kept for emergencies. Slowly climbed the stairs. The hallway was dark, illuminated only by the dim light of the flashlight. I stopped in front of the door of the farthest room, the one I use less often. I heard a movement from inside, with a mix of fear and determination. I swung the door open. The room was empty, but there was something different, a smell of mold and dust mixed with that of rotten food. I noticed a small tear in the drywall, barely visible indeed,